Welcome to Sci-Fi Stories. If you love stories of courage and mystery, make sure to subscribe and join our growing community.
The emergency lights bathed the medical deck of the starship Celestial Dawn in a soft amber glow, signaling a critical patient had just arrived. No one expected the patient to be a war titan. The creature barely fit inside the trauma bay. Nearly 3 meters tall even while lying down, its armored skin shimmered like cracked ice under the surgical lights. Scars crossed its body, each one telling a story of survival in battles fought under alien suns. The crew called the species Valtheran, a race known for two things: unbreakable loyalty and unstoppable strength. Yet the being on the table looked neither loyal nor strong. It looked tired. "Vital signs dropping again," a medic reported. Dr. Alara then tightened her jaw. She had treated victims of plasma storms and soldiers pulled from vacuum exposure, but this case refused to follow logic. "There is no internal bleeding," she said quietly. "No infection. No neural damage, so why is it dying?" No one answered. Across the corridor, 12-year-old Kai watched through the observation glass. He wasn't supposed to be there. His mother worked aboard the ship as a navigation officer, and Kai had spent most of the voyage exploring quiet hallways and imagining what lived beyond the stars. But something about this room pulled him in. Inside, machines hummed with flawless precision, yet the silence around the alien felt heavier than failure. A nurse passing by noticed him staring. "Poor thing lost its unit," she whispered. "Valtherans form life bonds. Their squad is their family. Pirates ambushed their convoy." Kai frowned. "So it's not just hurt." "No," the nurse replied softly. "It's alone." The word echoed inside him, alone. He remembered his first night at boarding school on Earth, how the unfamiliar ceiling had made the universe feel impossibly large. What must it feel like to wake up and discover everyone you belonged to was gone? Shift alarms chimed. For a brief moment, the security lock disengaged as staff rotated stations. Kai didn't think. He moved. The medical bay smelled faintly metallic, cool air brushing his skin as the door sealed behind him. Up close, the Valtheran was breathtaking. Its breathing came shallow, slow, like someone debating whether the effort was worth it. Kai approached carefully and placed his small hand against the creature's massive forearm. The armor was cold. "I don't know if you understand words," he whispered, "but you don't have to fight by yourself anymore." For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then every monitor flared. "Who let him in?" someone shouted. Doctors rushed forward but froze mid-step. The alien's chest expanded with a deeper breath, then another. Its eyelids twitched before opening to reveal eyes that glowed like distant suns. They locked onto Kai. The room fell silent except for the steady climb of numbers on the monitors. "Heart rate stabilizing," a medic muttered. "That's impossible." The Valtheran shifted slightly, leaning toward the boy's touch. Dr. Alara lifted a hand, stopping anyone from interfering. "Don't move," she ordered softly. Minutes passed. The creature's breathing strengthened. Circulation improved. Neural activity surged. Finally, one stunned technician whispered what everyone was thinking. "It's responding to him." Kai didn't understand the data. He just stayed. After a while, he pulled a chair closer and sat down. "Want me to tell you about Earth?" he asked gently. He talked about oceans that seemed endless, about thunderstorms that rattled windows, about street food markets bursting with noise and laughter. The Valtheran listened, or maybe it simply felt that it was no longer facing the dark alone. Over the next 2 days, Kai became a quiet constant in the trauma bay. He did homework beside the bed, ate meals there, even fell asleep once with his head resting against the side of the medical platform, and the alien recovered, faster than any projection allowed. Word spread quickly across the ship. Soon, other patients began requesting the presence of the human boy. A cargo engineer too terrified to undergo surgery relaxed after Kai spent an hour talking about ridiculous zero-gravity sports humans had invented. An elderly diplomat suffering from neural shock squeezed his hand and didn't let go until his tremors faded. Patterns emerged. Stress markers dropped when Kai was nearby. Recovery times shortened. Morale lifted, but not everyone celebrated. Commander Reese, the ship's chief operations officer, saw only risk. "This is not medicine," he argued during a staff briefing. "It is emotional interference. We cannot base protocol on a child wandering into restricted areas." Dr. Alara met his gaze calmly. "Then explain the results." "Correlation," he replied sharply, "is not causation." Their debate was interrupted by an alert. The Valtheran was standing, weak but unmistakably upright. With assistance, it walked into the observation hall where the argument had reached its peak. Every conversation died instantly. The giant approached Kai and lowered its head slightly, a gesture the translation database soon identified as a Valtheran sign of trust. A survivor from the aliens' convoy, now conscious, watched with wet eyes. "They don't endure solitude," she said quietly. "When their unit falls, many choose to follow. But sometimes they accept a new bond." Commander Reese studied the live medical feed streaming across his tablet. Numbers didn't lie. At last he exhaled slowly. "Effective immediately," he announced. "We begin studying what humans appear to provide naturally." Weeks later, the Valtheran departed aboard a recovery vessel, bound for a colony where others of its kind could welcome it. Before leaving, it paused at the docking ramp. Then it placed its massive hand briefly over Kai's shoulder. Not heavy, just enough to be felt. The translation rendered a single word: "Pack." That night, Kai stared out at the stars. Dr. Alara joined him. "You realize you changed procedures on a coalition vessel," she said. Kai shook his head. "I didn't do anything special," she smiled faintly. "Exactly." Another emergency call echoed through the corridor. New arrivals, frightened, disoriented, possibly alone. Kai stood immediately. No hesitation. As he walked toward the medical deck, he understood something most civilizations, for all their advancements, were still learning. Strength was not always the power to fight. Sometimes, it was simply the choice to stay when someone else was ready to give up. And wherever humans traveled among the stars, that quiet strength would travel with them, reminding the universe that no one has to face the darkness alone.